Greetings everyone, and welcome back to another installment in the iWish series. A series in which I buy questionable tech products from sites such as AliExpress, Wish and eBay just to see if they're any good, and most of the time they are not, but I like to buy this stuff so you don't have to. And the item I'm taking a look at today doesn't directly come from AliExpress, but it's most likely been purchased from AliExpress, Wish, or wherever. This is also a follow-up video to a smaller version of the product I'm looking at today, which if you haven't seen that video, I'll cut it up the top here. I think it was at the start of last year. Not sure when I made it, but it'll be up here if you want to see it. And that console was pretty average for what it was. It had some dodgy bits and pieces here and there, but how does the 7-inch version go compared to the previous one? Well, that's what we're going to find out today. Before I continue on, I'll just let you know that timestamps are in the description as well as the pinned comment, so you can skip along to wherever you need to, because we're going to be going through the listing and gameplay and teardown and all that sort of stuff. So if you need to skip along to a certain segment, feel free to do that. Without further ado, today we're looking at the X7 X12 PLUS handheld game console, 4.3, 5.1, 7.1 inch HD screen portable video player, built-in 10,000 plus retro games. Currently you can grab this for $75.44 Australian on AliExpress, so I'll display the usual currency conversion chart on screen to give you a rough idea of how much this thing costs around the world. And I did mention this in my previous video about the Powkiddy A30 console, which is only $10 less than this, but this thing does a lot more than that. Does that make sense? That probably doesn't make sense. But considering this is the biggest version of this system, this should be the most powerful and most feature-packed one. Well, we'd assume so anyways. In the listing, we just have a very brief specification sheet which says we have the 7-inch, 16 million color, 16:9 high definition screen with a resolution of 800 by 480. High definition, 800 by 480, 7 inches. Okay, good. Number of games, 22,800 repeated games, more than 1,000 unique games. So they're admitting to repeating games, which honestly, I browsed through the system files and I didn't see any repeats of games. And once again, that's also a big issue of recommending this thing, if it's any good, is that it has a whole bunch of ROMs on it, so I don't really want to jump into that territory. Standard memory, we have built-in 16 gigs of memory and supports 120 megs to 32 gig TF card expansion. And the weight of it is 480 grams, and the measurements for this thing are 28.5 by 13.5 by 5.2 centimeters, which is pretty big. It's a fairly big console. It supports 10 emulators such as PS1, MAME, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, NES, Super Famicom, Sega Megadrive, and Megadrive. So we've got a couple of things going on there. It supports TV output, connects TV to play games and watch movies. Unfortunately, I don't have the cable for it. I know which cable uses it, but I assume that it would probably look like garbage outputted to a TV using composite cables anyways. Music playback supports MP3 files and stuff, unlike the Powkiddy A30, this can actually play MP3 files. Digital recording, built-in high-definition microphone, high-quality recording and ordinary recording for you to choose. Notice how it doesn't have camera anywhere? That's a thing we'll get to soon. Supports image browsing, text reading, and the standard accessories. Come with a game console, headphone, just one, Ashen's reference, had to do that. Data cable, AV cable, and instruction. Not instructions, just instruction. We've got the HD big screen game console, built-in 10 emulator games with a picture of some game there, some racing game with a car going fast, and that's the console there, looking like a PS Vita and a Nintendo Switch got fused and mutated together, and this is what was spat out. Pretty much looks exactly like the previous one that I've looked at, except bigger. We have the texture crystal button with the select function key according to the up and down key to select, and the anti-slip rocker. Lattice anti-slip texture, easy to handle without delay. These analog sticks also roll around in circles, so that'll be fun. The X12 PLUS has a built-in professional game chip, more powerful performance and smoother games. Double rockers plus crystal key, more smooth buttons in various operation modes. HD entertainment function, video, ebook, music, etc. Free download of massive games, provide cloud disk resources. That's a lie, it has no connectivity to the internet whatsoever. Longer endurance, batteries last longer. I bet it does. 7-inch high definition color screen, better picture quality without harming eyes. I can tell you now that looking at this thing and trying this thing out before this review definitely harmed my eyes, and it's going to harm yours too, so be prepared for what you're about to see. Another piece of the listing is the lossless noise reduction recording using professional noise reduction chip. The recording is clear, fast, stable, and no noise in complex environment. This woman is clearly whispering into the X7 Plus and not the X12 Plus for recording high quality audio content because we don't have a camera on this thing and sound waves are emitting from it. This is all making sense to you? Yeah? Okay. Powerful inner core run the game smoothly using dual engine G20 new generation processor, high speed restoration and smooth operation of various large scale arcade and other classic nostalgic games. And there's the chip with Chinese writing on it, and I don't know what it says. I should have looked that up, but I assume it probably says Powerhouse or something. But G20 is the name of the processor that was in the previous one that I've looked at. So if it's got the same thing in it, then I kind of already know what emulation's going to be like. We have this wonderful image, which was in the previous video, but I've just got to show it again. Look at the doggo, oh, it's adorable. He looks a bit derpy, but that's okay. Comfortable grip with both hands, finding back the feeling of childhood long lost. Yes, childhood long lost with a 7-inch portable thing that can't even fit in your pocket. Yeah, okay, that brings me back to my Game Boy days. And that's it. That's all of the listing done. Let's finally take a look at this console and see how good it is. Let's just pretend I did pay $75 Australian for this thing and just see for the money if it's going to be worth it or not. Well, this video is going to go for about 50 minutes just for me to tell you yes or no, so strap in, get ready. Here is the box. It says it here, it's the Gaia. I have a feeling the person that slapped this sticker on this box was doing that intentionally. I'm gonna call it now. I purchased this from Cashies, of course, because the sticker, for $30, which I think was a reasonable price for this. 7-inch screen size, it shows the fake Joy-Cons that are not Joy-Cons, and it's just painted on, that's okay. We have a picture of the unit there with X12 PLUS and a screenshot of a car with a broken windshield. It looked like Twisted Metal for a second, but it's not Twisted Metal, is it? It's clearly not Twisted Metal. I don't actually know what game that's from. You'll have to let me know down in the comments. Supposedly it's got surround, it has real player, plays H.264, HD ready, and USB. How many of them are correct out of those ones? Just one. We've got plus just slapped onto the box with some lines and some Chinese writing that says flip that around, something or other there. On the side we've got some screenshots of games. Hang on, that's a screenshot of Journey to the Center of the Earth with Brendan Fraser. Okay, no worries. Picture of the console once again. On the other side we have World of Entertainment with the console, memory card 16 gig, color selection. None of them are selected. Oh wait, I've just figured out the color scheme. Blue, black, red is what it's supposed to be. So you can get a blue, black, yellow version? That would look a little weird. On the back we have the technical specifications. 7-inch true color high definition TFT screen, 6M to infinity. To infinity and beyond, alright. Photo format, JPEG video formats, 3GP, MP4, AVI, RMVB, and RM. So it actually does have real media. Okay, I'll take that back. It's got two things on the front that work. Resolution, 800 by 400 at 30 frames at 30 megabits per second, H.264. So that's actually referring to recording videos with this thing. Don't worry, we'll get to that soon. Game format, NES, A32-bit game support, NES format, game download, 6EQ customization, classical rock, jazz, pop, normal support, mic recording, recording format, AAC film recording format, MP4. That's all in one thing, by the way. Okay. Capacity, built-in flash memory, 8 gig to 16 gig for option support, TF card extension. Nope, sorry, that's not extension, that's extension. Up to 32 gig built-in 2500 mAh lithium support, 4 to 6 hours, continuous playback, interface, USB 2.0, built-in loudspeaker, weight about 160 grams. One pixel. Gift box, size 28 by 5 by 13.5 by 5.2 centimeters. Some regulations that probably don't exist, made in China, of course it is. And opening this up, we have the wonderful console itself. And inside we have a cable. Previous owners stole the AV out, the instructions, so we can't even laugh at the instructions. That's sad. But here, my friends, is the console. Oh god, it's ugly. Once again, just a bit of a solid comparison. Now, this is pretty much close to the PS Vita in terms of size. Yeah, this thing kind of just dwarfs right over it. Also, they flipped the Joy-Con layout. They've swapped the left side to blue, whereas the other one had the blue on the right side. That's fair.
Here's one for you.
So why is the 5-inch version called the X7 and the 7-inch version called the X12 PLUS? Makes complete sense, don't worry. The analog sticks have also been changed. The newer ones have an indent into them, so your thumb just sits directly on top and moves them around, whereas the older ones just have a grip and the buttons sort of just curves at the top like that. The buttons all basically look the same. The buttons actually have a bit more of a cooler design in there compared to the older ones, and the ABXY that's on there looks basically the same as the previous one. On the back of the console is where things get a little, well, it's kind of the same, sort of. You see portable multimedia player with the fake Joy-Cons just stuck on there. Then you have 2 speaker grills. Is there 2 speakers in this thing? I don't think so. With your keen eyes, you may have seen this little thing there. Let me just go in for a bit of a close-up there. Yeah, there's no camera there. It's just a piece of foam stuck over it. The smaller version has an actual camera in there, but this has Okay, agree with it. How that makes sense, I have no idea, just agree with it. Obviously, bigger screen means get rid of the camera so we can save money, go along with it. But at the top of the unit, power button, volume down and volume up, looking very iPhone-like. Mini USB, there's another hole there, so that's probably for the microphone. We've got an 8GB microSD card loaded in this thing, a power switch, and a headphone jack, which doubles as the AV out as well. Then we have the 2 shoulder buttons, which are pretty clicky, and at the bottom we have absolutely nothing. It is just all plain, whereas the old one had some of the stuff on the bottom. Holding it in the hands, very cheap feeling. The Powkiddy at least felt a bit more sturdier. This just feels really hollow. But I have to say though that the buttons actually don't feel too bad. The face buttons are quite reasonable. The D-pad, while not being like usual D-pads, it's just 4 buttons that are split up. They feel reasonably good, and the travel distance is very minimal, but also provides a satisfying sort of click to them. So button-wise, not too bad. The analog sticks though, they just sort of roll around. You can actually take them off. Just sticks onto there and then putting that back down into place. They don't click either. They just sort of as they are. But if you try and use this and you sort of use the side of your thumb to try and move the analog stick, you'll just spin it around. So the same issue as on the previous one. So that's a thing that's carried over. The escape button, select and start, all feeling pretty tactile and clicky there. So we've pretty much went over all of the stuff on this console. Let's take off the screen protector and reveal the 7 inches of glory. Don't take that out of context, god damn. Power switch, ready, set, here we go. There we go, kicked in. There's Tekken. Just wait. Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, Street Fighter, Tekken. That's it. And now we're generating playlists. So just give it some time. Yeah, the boot is slightly slower than the other one. The other one was just rapidly flashing of Tekken. The powerhouse is loading content. Just give it a second. And we're in. Also just for shits and giggles. Tekken. Yep. See how fast that one is? But see how the layout on that one, it does have that sort of PS Vita looking background, but the UI has been slightly changed around to have this more PS Vita looking interface. On this console, we have videos, music, pictures, ebook, browser, calculator, stopwatch, calendar, recorder, setting. Then in games, we have WOF, which I don't remember what that is, Street Fighter 2, King of Fighters, Metal Slug, Fat Fury 2, Fatal Fury 2 I would assume, Pro Gear, Samurai, Punisher, Fight, which I don't remember what that game was and it says it there but I can't quite see it, Dino, Game, GBA, 3D arcade game, Battle City, Super Mario, Capcom, 3 Wonders, Contra, Knights, Dragon Ball. And we are back to the start. You can use the shoulder buttons to navigate through this if you wanted to. Oh, you're actually using them as left and right. Okay, that's fair. Let me just quickly say that this 7-inch display is so low resolution that you can literally count the pixels on SD there. Look how blurry that is. And as well as the battery icon too. They just didn't try, but looking close up, yeah, it's worse in person, trust me. It's a lot worse in person. One thing to note about the build quality of this is if you just slightly flex it, you could see the LCD just bouncing around in there. You know, it's very hollow, so there's not a lot of guts going on in here, but it tries. The buttons, so far, they respond. They work well. It's very laggy, but that's okay. Also, the viewing angles of this thing are quite terrible. When I went outside to try and take photos for the thumbnail, I could barely see what was on the screen. So if you could see whatever's on the screen in the thumbnail, it's probably because I've had to brighten it up in Photoshop just so you can actually see it. Anyways, let's go straight to setting, which you've got to use B to go into things. B is to enter, A is to go back. So in display, we have backlight brightness and backlight. So nothing there. Power saving, idle time and sleep time, language, English, we're going to leave that. TV out, you can choose PAL and NTSC, sync media playlist, advanced, information, username, unknown, firmware version, 1.1.10.200710, memory total space, 13,151 megabytes, memory free space, 5044 megabytes, card capacity, 7560 megabytes, card free space, 7548 megabytes, and we're back to the start. Select key tone. Let's have a listen to these keys. Sounds like a frog that's just been hit by a car. Let's try 3. Oh dear God, it's like a Nokia now. Oh. Kind of like another Nokia. Now I'll stick with Keytone 1, which is the... I swear it's borrowed off Windows, but I'm not too sure. Effect setting. Fly in, cube, and rotate. We've seen these on knockoff phones before. Let me just do rotate. Oh, Jesus Christ. No, let's not even. How bad's that now? Oh god. Yep, and here you are thinking to yourself, hey, it's a big console, man, it should have plenty of power. No, it can't even do... Okay, that animation was smooth. I take everything I said back. That animation's very, very smooth. I'm going to leave that on. Format internal memory, format card, set username. Oh, I can set my own username. Hello. And that's basically it within settings. But you eagle-eyed viewers may have noticed something. Home button, volume, menu, back. It has a touch screen, you say? Nope. Nope. They've literally borrowed this interface off another console that does have touch functionality and have just slapped it on here and went, no one will know. Because if you do, like volume, for example, that's a slider there. But yeah, it's not a touchscreen. So it'd be interesting to see on the motherboard if it actually does have a touchscreen connector or something like that on there. But you'll see this in places on this console, that there's places that if you had a touchscreen would have been able to use. Now let's move on to videos. We'll get there. There we go. See, look, that's a pretty smooth animation, gotta say. Oh, there's Test A2 RMVB on here. What's this? Oh, hello, Madagascar. I don't know how much of this I can play before it's copyrighted. See, there's the interface there. I believe this has stereo speakers. That's another thing to add to the list of the things that are on the box that are correct. Hang on a second. There's not a second screen protector. Is there a second screen protector? No way. Did they put 2 screen protectors on this? Huh, they did. They put 2 screen protectors on this. That's pretty cool. Here we go, folks. This is Costa Rica in 1080p at 60 FPS on this console. Also, let me just quickly show you the display. There you go. You can smell the pixels if you wanted to. Pretty good detail for this 7-inch display. Actually, is it 7 inches? Is this actually a 7-inch display that they've thrown on here? Or are they lying to us? Nah, it's actually a 6.9-inch display. I see what they did there. Let's see how this performs. Ready? Steady. Alright. Oh, okay. Why didn't that work? Maybe I've got to convert it to real media. It can't play MP4s. That makes sense. I'm trying to copy the new Costa Rica file in AVI format to this thing, but you connect it to the computer, right? You drag and drop a file onto it, and it goes, oh no, sorry, I can't do that, and reboots. And it stays at 99% and doesn't work. So then you've got to wait for it to reboot. Once it kicks back in, then you can copy it. And it should work. Hopefully. Let's try this again. Part 2. Costa Rica in 4K 60 FPS in AVI format. Let's go. I hate you. Third time's a charm. I've put it to 720p at 60 FPS. Hopefully it works. So if this doesn't work this time around, then it all has to do with the resolution. It's the resolution. Because I've tried MP4 and AVI. Decode error. I've tried 3 times and doesn't work. It probably needs to be in RMVB format to actually probably work, but also because it's 60 FPS, that's probably a reason why it's not working. Let's just completely ignore that, and I've spent way too long trying to copy files and all that sort of stuff. Let's move on to music then. And of course, I have BFG Division as well as 2 other songs. One called Sha-La-La. What is Sha-La-La? Whoa. It does have stereo speakers. Okay, I know the song. What is Take Me to Your Heart? Fairly depressing. There we go, so we have a menu. Screen size, spectrum and lyric. Oh, it has lyrics. Play mode, repeat all, set rating, add tag, variable speed playback. Oh my god, that's pretty janky looking. Alright, we'll try that with BFG Division. Advanced, replay times, replay interval, EQ settings. Wait, it does have SRS? What? It has 3D? What? Okay. Doubted that for a second, but alright, fair. Let's go to BFG Division then. Let's bump all the way out. Okay. Let's do basic speaker test. Not bad. There's actually a stereo effect going on. Yeah. But there's actually 2 speakers, and they are in stereo, and they actually do sound a lot wider than just basic stereo speakers. Does this actually have SRS then? Unless they've put that on there and put their own version, I have no idea. Okay, let's try the variable speed playback then. Okay, oh god, okay. It's a whole different song. Alright, let's do it to -4. Not bad, not bad. We'll do it at 1 times. There you go. Also, there's a little guy there. He's pointing to the 1 times. One times? Yeah. Headbanging mode achieved. Gets a little lost though. Well, yeah, in SRS then I can change it to have, let's have maximum bass then. Everything to go to 10, alright? Sounds the same. Oh god, it sounds shit with headphones. The fact that you can stuff around with EQ settings and all that, it's got stereo speakers, they're not the loudest, they're not the clearest, but they will do for a thing like this. I actually wasn't expecting it to have dual stereo speakers, and I can actually say dual stereo speakers. Amazing. Well, that's pretty good then for this unit. Let's go to pictures. Do we have any pictures? Oh, we have pictures. We have some leaves. Lemons! Someone have to tell me what characters these are. Flowers. And back to the start. That was fun. Actually, I could have shown you. Wait, just wait, it's loading the list. There you go. Loading a JPEG, we can do it. So I'll just give you a bit of a close-up there of the lemons. Looking nice. Looking good. You can go back now. You can do it. Files. Yes, they are files. Okay. We have EBook up next. Get to read some ebooks. I've put this one on, the Nintendo Sony Vita Switch I named at the beginning of the video, which I've completely forgotten about. Yes, that's true. But this I did not put on. Good boy little Robert asked his mother for 2 cents. What did you do with the money I gave you yesterday? I gave it to a poor old woman, he answered. You're a good boy, said the mother proudly. Here are 2 cents more, but why are you so interested in the old woman? She is the only one who sells the candy. I laughed a lot at that. That was very good. Also, 2 cents. What year is that from even? Okay, man, that's cool. You want to whip this out on the train just to read some ebooks? Feel free. You also have the browser, which would seem to be internet browsing. No, it's not. It's just the file manager. Won't need to really come back to that because we'll be going to game and then launching stuff from there. Calculator looks like back a pace. Nice. I like back a pace. You would have to go through each button, click it, and if you make a mistake, you'd have to back a pace. Yeah, once again, probably made for a touchscreen, but integrated onto this because why not? Stopwatch looks a little something like a stopwatch with little alien-looking icons there. They're very blurry too, by the way. Calendar looks like a calendar. The date is very incorrect. That's okay, because the next thing I'm going to show you has the complete incorrect date. We do have the recorder, which is standby and it has a tape, record format, record quality, low, medium, high. I recorded mine on the highest quality. Record gain, I just left it as is. Record mode is voice record, save path, that's it. And I'll splice in the recording of the microphone quality with this for you all right now. Oh, this is recording. That's great. Quality of the X12 PLUS thingamajiggy. I hope it sounds good. Supposedly I recorded that in the year 2098 at 12:37 AM, but there you go, that was the microphone quality on this. And you know what, for a cheapy device, it's not too bad, it'll do. I'm pretty sure there's only this microphone. There could be a secondary one, but I'm not too sure. We'll have to see when we tear it down. That's all of the basic functions on this so far. So now it's time to move into games. And oh boy, we've got a few to test. So let's start with WAF. Actually, there were settings. What are the settings? Sound output? On or off, okay. Keyboard mapping? You can map the buttons. That's awesome. Also, you can do a screen resolution scale thing. That's good. For a cheapy console, you actually have key mapping. To just make sure about that as well, if I selected, let's just say A, I can then map that to any button. So let's say I wanted to map it to R. There you go, R1 is now A. So that means that R1 is now Z. Okay, I probably shouldn't have done that then. No, because I can go straight back to that and then press A, and that's fine. See, look at that. Look how easy that is. Let's try WAF. What is WAF? And we'll obviously try it in full screen first. Warriors of Fate is what it's called. Okay, I'm pretty sure I showed this in the previous video, but it doesn't matter. Ah, hello. How you doing? Hello. Yep, This is the same one. I'm on a horse. Watch me go. Holy shit, this is loud. Not gonna lie, that's got some punch. Oh, holy shit, I didn't realize I could also... Yeet. Let me go to setting, and then go to screen size, and then do original size to see what this looks like. There you go. But it improves the performance. Yeah, it's the size of... as it is. I kind of like this console better than Powkiddy already. There's a game guide also, no file. Okay, so Street Fighter 2, let's see what this looks like. Let's go settings as well. Screen size, we'll leave it as full screen. Also, it says restart for everything, even though we're not restarting, but okay, sure. So these are just arcade games. There you go, Street Fighter 2. Alright. Emulation feels a little choppy so far, but it's not too bad. But I've got to praise the buttons. The buttons do feel quite good. Even though the D-pad is just 4 buttons, you know, split up like that, they're not too bad. Unlike the Powkiddy where you had to sit there and hammer down a button, this is fine. You can just sit back and just casually press buttons. And look, I can just lightly tap that and it'll work, no problems. So, well done, X12 PLUS. You're doing something right. King of Fighters. What is this? Okay, is this GBA? I think it's GBA. It looks like GBA. Okay, they don't work. Screen size. Original size. Let's see how big it is. Oh, there you go. That's that. That's how big that would be. Yeah, it's probably GBA then. And you also have save states as well, which is also cool. Metal Slug. Do the screen size to full. Oh, Metal Slug Advanced. Okay, this is GBA. GBA on a 7-inch display. It doesn't look half bad. I can't wait till I try Doom on this to see how it goes, but hey, you know what? It'll do. Yeah, you can minimize the screen down if you want to get a bit more performance, because there is some lag here and there, but it's not too bad. I'm sure you could buy a console for around 75 bucks that would probably do emulation a lot better. I think the Retroid Pocket's about 100 Australian, something along those lines. But this has a 7-inch display, like, you know. Although the emulation support is quite limited, as you'll see very soon. Fat Fury 2, which is Fatal Fury 2, I would assume. It's loading. It's doing something. Maybe this is a bigger game. This is a bigger game. It's Neo Geo. Okay, max 33 Mega Pro Gear spec. Cool. Yeah, Fatal Fury 2. The first stage. Yes, it is. Oh, you just kicked me right in the,
Motherfucker, you been a dick!
Yo, this seems fine. Terry Bogard. I don't recall playing this franchise before, but I just died very quickly. That emulation actually doesn't seem too bad. Once again, I'm just going through these sort of quickly because I've got my own games in the emulation list that I want to try. I'm just sort of seeing what games these are and what systems they're for, and just getting a bit of a rough idea. This is probably another Neo Geo game, I'd say. I don't even remember what I selected. Arcade. Oh, look at this thing. Whoa! Everything's on fire. Wait. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's pretty cool. Little choppy. A little bit choppy. But for the most part, that's pretty good. Oh my god, what have I done? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, but not the smoothest, but it's definitely playable. I don't even remember what game it is. What game did I pick? Pro Gear, there you go. What's Samurai? Let's take a look at Samurai. Another Neo Geo game. Samurai Showdown 4. Fair and square. Prepare to die. Well, the emulation's not too bad though, like, it's pretty good. Being scaled to a 7-inch display. Oh, this is Victorly! I remember that being a meme! Oh god, Victorly! Oh, that's funny. Oh god, a friend of mine used to make fun of that in high school. Victorly, he always used to post that. That's hilarious. Zach, if you're watching, that was funny back in the day. To a 7-inch display, things look a little off and blurry. But you know what? For the most part, everything's playable. Punisher is just the Punisher, which I've shown on the previous console. Once again, runs pretty good. So, not going to keep this going for too long, because we've got plenty of other things to check out on this. Also, can I grab the money bags and then run off with them? No, I can't. Oh, I just done a... Okay, that's alright. F-fight, which is something. Final fight. I think I got there in the end. Don't laugh at my pain. Yeah, just kicks and barrels. Get out of the way. No, don't you even. Yep. Once again, runs pretty good. Can't say much more about this. You know, I also think as well, if the emulation was super crisp, it would kind of take away a little bit of the nostalgic value of this, I guess. I don't know, it could be just me, but it may be low resolution, but it's not terrible. We've seen a lot worse. Also, I've just selected Dino, which I think is Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, which I only played that once, and I haven't played again. Yeah. Punching dudes in the face and dinosaurs are flying around and all that sort of good stuff's happening. Let's move on. It runs pretty good. GBA seems to run fairly good too, but wait till we get into proper GBA stuff. Next up we have game which shows a Super Nintendo controller. Then we have GBA, then 3D arcade games. So I'm gonna come back to those. So let me go to Battle City. Let's see what Battle City is. What is this? I have no idea what this could be. This is a NES game. Oh, what am I doing? I'm selecting a stage? What did I do? Did I accidentally do a cheat code that I didn't even know what I did? Okay, well there you go. This is this. It's stretched, but it runs quite smooth. Oh boy, the original screen size of this, it's going to be like the size of a postage stamp, isn't it? Yep. I mean, but like, if we got nice and close though. Hey, look at that. That's scale. So that's not stretched, which actually doesn't look half bad. Not gonna lie, it doesn't look half bad. If we want to keep the aspect ratio of games properly, well then, yeah, we can absolutely do that. Super Mario is up next with a picture of Super Mario Galaxy, but it's definitely not Super Mario Galaxy. It is just Super Mario Brothers, and here it is. How does it run on this? Let's give it a go. Let's give it a crack. It's super fast, but like, it's super smooth though. Super fast, super smooth. The Powkiddy couldn't even do that. No, that's actually like too fast. But the sound is good. This is perfectly playable. So yeah, the analog stick, once again, I forgot to mention, is bound to these keys. So you can use the analog stick to... There we go. Perfect. Look at that. The viewing angles are pretty terrible, so if I'm doing this a lot during the review, it's because I can't see the display and I'm looking at the viewfinder, and if I look down at the display, I can't see anything. Even full screen, man, that's pretty good. It's 8-bit. Of course it's going to run, you know, quite decent. As I said, the Powkiddy A30 had problems even emulating NES. So, well done to this, once again. Let's continue on. We've got Capcom, which I think is just another arcade game, if I'm not mistaken. Captain Commando. That would make sense. I'm this blue dude that's fighting dudes with dudes, and they have suits and... Okay, this is fair. Yeah, well, once again, I gotta say that arcade emulation is quite good. Runs fairly well. What is Three Wonders? I wonder what Three Wonders is. Okay, it's another arcade game of some sorts. Hey, there you go. I didn't choose that, but you know what? It's doing things. What is this? Is that the flying spaghetti monster? I'm questioning my existence. It was just a demo. Alright. Well, I guess we'll choose Wanderers. Midnight Wanderers. Dun dun! Oh, there's a frog and he's having tea with... Okay, this is really good. So if you want fast action, just wiggle the analog stick around like crazy and I'll press every button for you at the same time. So there you go. I will comment on the analog stick as well. Not the greatest analog stick because it's just slipping all the time because of it going around and around, but it works. It just works. Once again. Contra. Jeez, I wonder what this will be. Surely can't be Contra on NES, can it? Oh yeah. Smooth. Super smooth. Nice and smooth. Very smooth. Smooth like peanut butter. I like peanut butter smooth. Why am I even mentioning peanut butter? It looks infinitely better than the Powkiddy A30, does it not? It runs better. It looks better. For retro stuff, this screen is good, but for anything else past that, it's not the greatest. It's a cheap display on a cheap console. So let me try... I've forgotten the name of the game that I've just chosen. It's okay, it's late at night. Don't worry. Knights of the Moon. Lancelot with a sword. And he just blew up. Oh, I got 6 minutes. Using my sword to chop soldiers. There you go. And the last one is Dragon Ball, which I believe should be a NES game? I think it's one of the NES games. No, it's GBA. Why did I not think of the GBA ones? Ah, it's all in Japanese. I'll just choose everything. Yeah, like... it's not bad. Yeah, it seems more than reasonable. But I think the main test is Doom, obviously. Let's see if that runs better than the Powkiddy A30. Let me go into 3D Arcade Game, which this is just choosing games that are on here. Which actually, these are all the games that are preloaded on the main menu there. So what does GBA do? That just shows GBA games. Okay, so what we want to go into is game. If we go to the internal memory, I have Atari 2600, Arcade, Game Gear, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Genesis or Megadrive, MAME, Master System, N64, Neo Geo, NES, PS1, SNES. They're the most basic ones that I did try on the previous console, as well as the Powkiddy. Can it play Atari 2600 games? The answer is no, it cannot. Arcade doesn't come up with anything. Directory just has all the preloaded games that were on here. I've just put it all into one directory. Does it play Game Gear? It does not play Game Gear. Does it play Game Boy Advance? Yes, it does. Let's try Doom. Remember how Doom ran on the Powkiddy. Just keep that in mind, and now let's see how it goes on this. Oh! Hey, apart from it sounding like garbage, this doesn't sound good at all. Okay, let's help it a little bit. Let's put the screen size to original size. Let's see if this helped. Okay, emulation-wise, it's pretty much full speed. Kind of. Sound output, though, that's not too good. Let me try Doom 2. See if that's any better. Alright, let's see how Doom 2 goes. Oh, Jesus. Can I pick up the chainsaw? Wait, it was smooth for 3 seconds. Oh, look, it's smooth. Look, it's smooth. Perfect. That's how it's supposed to run if I'm just pointing at a wall. Let's attack the wall. Whee! And then everything just goes to complete shit. Okay, that was really good. Let's try Pokemon Ruby and see if that will actually work on this. Because, okay, I was about to say, because on the Powkiddy that didn't work. Is it because they're in zip files, perhaps? They have to be extracted to work. Okay, let me just show you Crash Bandicoot then. Because I'm pretty sure I showed that on the previous one. But I'm gonna safely say that 3D sort of stuff is probably not going to be good on this, but this has some elements of 3D, so let me try this. Surely it can't be that bad. Alright. There we go. Hey, not bad. The buttons aren't mapped correctly, but that's okay. You can change that if you need to. I can be a little bit nitpicky and say that there's a couple of frame dips here and there, but GBA seems fine. And this is at the full screen as well, which, I mean, if we look at that, you know, you can see that it's quite stretched and stuff, but I think that gives it charm. Being blurry and stuff like that kind of just, I don't know, it adds to it a little bit. So I'll just try Driver 3, because this and Driver 2 Game Boy Advance were pretty demanding stuff for the Game Boy Advance. So let's just give this a go and just see how it runs. I just called myself A because that'll do. And what do you know? This is pretty good. Look at that. That runs pretty good. And being 3D, you know what? It works quite well. I mean, 3D I sort of use loosely because of the way this is, but it's not too bad. It doesn't look too bad either at the screen size as well. I keep saying that for every game, but it's true. And speaker-wise as well, I'll praise the speakers. Quite nice and loud. Obviously, Doom Game Boy Advance just has some issues, okay? Let's give it that. It's got some issues. But it tried, okay? It tried. The emulation was about 70% there, visually anyways. Game Boy Color. I'm going to show you Pokemon Puzzle Challenge on this, because once again, this is one of my favorite games that I played on Game Boy as a kid, next to Pokemon Gold and Pokemon Yellow. This game you need precision for. Let's see how precision goes on this. Let's see how I can go on this one. Okay. It's got a little bit of input lag. Just a little bit though. Let me put it down to easy and then I'll put it down a little bit so I can get a better experience instead of just rushing through it. I'm gonna have to look at the screen properly to see this, but okay. Yes. Yes. Not a problem. Absolutely couldn't do that on the Powkiddy A30. Can do it on this. So you know what? That gets a pass from me. Well done. I just want to see what Crystal... What? It can't read zip formats. Unfortunately. I can say Game Boy Color will be fine. And for the more fast-paced games, you'll have no problems there. Let me try Megadrive though. I've got 32X on here. Now 32X format didn't come up, so I renamed 32X to .bin just to see if it'll work. I don't think it will, but let me just quickly try and just be hilarious if it actually started working. I knew it likely wouldn't have worked, but I just wanted to give it a shot just in case, because yeah, it can't read zip files. So let me try Sonic the Hedgehog 2. But what? That's in the right format. Why does it not work? That works. Why didn't... Oh, alright. I'll go back and try it again. Let's see if I have the same issue with Jurassic Park that I did on the previous one. Can I actually change weapons? Yes, I can. Runs good. Runs fine. It's just a very dark game. But sound emulation's fine. And I'm getting attacked by one of those little dinosaurs that I forgot the name of, but that's okay. Let's do it again. So why didn't Sonic work then? Why? Why did Sonic not work? Sonic. You silly thing. Why is... Okay. The format has to be MD. Would have helped. So I've got myself another Sonic 2 ROM. Let's see if this one works. It should work this time. Got it. Let's see how this runs then. 60 FPS? More. If I look at the actual screen, it's pretty damn smooth. Little bit of slowdown though. Little bit of slowdown. Sound is also starting to struggle a little bit. Okay, not perfect. But it's alright, I guess. So MAME doesn't actually have ROMs in there. Let's try Master System. So Master System doesn't work. It doesn't actually show the ROMs, just the zip files, which we can't even open. N64 has nothing in there. Unfortunate. Neo Geo I've already shown at the preloaded games, and we know that they run fairly well. NES we've already shown, but I just want to try my version of Super Mario Bros. That I've got on here just real quickly, just to see how it goes. If it's the same sort of emulation or if it's slightly different. There we go. That's like perfect. That's pretty much perfect emulation right there. It's NES. It should be fine. It should technically run fine on basically anything. It's not too fast, not too slow. It's just about right. NES is good. Neo Geo is reasonable. Arcade's good as well. Genesis or Mega Drive is hit and miss. Game Boy Advance is also hit and miss. But now we've got PS1 and SNES left. Show me Doom. Is it going to be the same as Doom on the Powkiddy? That didn't work. Why didn't that work? Alright, let me try Donkey Kong Country. Sure thing, the file format's wrong. It's very picky with file formats. Super Nintendo, no. Just don't even go there. Yep. This is a little sad. Buttons definitely need to be changed. Yeah, Super Nintendo is not good. Let me try it with scaled down. Nope, even with scaled down, it's... No. Okay. Doom is SMC2. Hang on, there's another one here. Please work, please work, please work. Oh, Doom. Come on. No. So Doom doesn't even work. But judging by Donkey Kong Country, I'd say we wouldn't get far anyways. So then PS1 is going to be really, really fun. So Doom on the PS1. Holy crap. Could this be playable? Could this be playable? Could this be playable? I'm gonna bump up the screen resolution. Hold up. Can't be that bad. This is Doom on PS1. Was Doom on PS1. I think I may have broken it. Let's try that again. Yep, we're not gonna get too far with Doom. Does Pepsi Man work? Does it work? Does it? Oh my god, it works. We have Pepsi Man on this. This plays PS1. Holy crap. Alright, I said it plays PS1. It's a slideshow of PS1. Wait, maybe it's good. Maybe it's okay. I don't know if that runs better than the Powkiddy A30 or worse than the Powkiddy A30. Can't tell. I think it runs slightly better, like a frame better. Oop, fell over. But it plays Pepsi Man. You can even change discs as well. Let me try Resident Evil 2. That's not full-on 3D. It's only just 3D models on 2D background, so it should run a little better. Okay, if Donkey Kong Country struggled on Super Nintendo, we're not going to get too far. That's okay. It's trying. It's doing its best. Not gonna get far with Resident Evil 2. Let's finish it off by Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, for our sake. Please run. Nope. I've waited probably about 3.5 minutes. At this point, it's not doing anything. And I've also tried waiting with Resident Evil 2 as well, and that doesn't want to work. What's in system? FM. There's no radio on this, so why is that even on there? That's everything on this thing. I kind of liked it at first. Now I sort of think it's disappointing. It's a cheapo console. Well, cheapo at $74 Australian. It has built-in games. For the most part, work pretty well. NES will run perfect. Game Boy Color will run perfect. Neo Geo seems to run fine. Arcade seems to run fine. Game Boy Advance is hit and miss. Genesis Emulation, hit and miss. Super Nintendo, don't even go there. PlayStation 1, don't even go there. Otherwise, it can't play Master System, Game Gear, 2600, N64, none of that. It seems to be pretty underpowered for what it is. I'd say that Powkiddy without the Trim UI probably could have played a lot of the games pretty fine, but because of that Trim UI stuff, that's likely the reason why we got so much lag. With this though, it's probably a combination of that G20 chip that was in the previous one, and, well, outdated hardware just isn't really going to work with this sort of stuff. And considering it can't even open zip archives, and it just refuses to open a lot of things, kind of is a bit questionable. This UI is meant for a touchscreen that they've just slapped onto this and called it a day. There are some positives in that mix. With emulation being hit and miss, the buttons aren't too bad, the speakers aren't too bad, the analog sticks are pretty much useless, don't use them. Button mapping is good, you can change the screen size, which is also good. You've got micro SD card support, and then you've also got the internal storage, which I have a feeling is on a micro SD card. The battery seems to last a bit longer than the Powkiddy, because I've been testing and playing this now for about 3 hours, and I haven't dropped any battery, so I'd say that's fairly good. The screen is, from my point of view with retro stuff, I think the screen is good, but if you look at it from a 7-inch display, 480 by 800, it's not going to look the greatest, but for retro stuff, I think it adds a little bit of a touch to it. The build quality, it's fairly cheap. The Powkiddy at least was a decent build quality, but I'd rather the buttons on this than the buttons on the Powkiddy, that's for sure. For 74 bucks, I would give this one a miss. Can't even play MP4 as well, so it's almost as useless in the media department like the A30. It can play certain types of videos, but they have to be encoded correctly and all that sort of stuff. You can't just stick any old file on here to get it working. It probably has to be in the right resolution, the right file format, all that sort of stuff to get it working. I think I've pretty much said enough about this. It's not worth it. It was worth checking out to see if it was any good. It has its ups and downs, okay? Go ahead and power this thing off because we need to tear this down. And it says bye-bye. I wonder what the motherboard's actually going to look like in this. 4 screws is all it takes to open this thing up. So let's investigate the innards. So considering when I plug this into my computer, I get access to 2 storage locations. One's called Act Disk and one is called Removable Disk, which makes sense. This just stores memory card files for the PS1 on it. That's it. All the other stuff is actually in the internal storage. Alright, let's see if it's just another micro SD card stuck right on the motherboard, or if it's actually a flash module built onto the motherboard. I reckon it'll just be another micro SD card, but let's see. Prove me wrong. 7-inch X12 PLUS thing. Popping the back cover off, we get, oh god, okay. There's the two speakers. Probably 20mm drivers that are in here. All right, let's take a look at the camera. There it is there. Just a bit of foam that's stuck onto the motherboard like so. Sad that it doesn't have the camera. Would have been nice. We have the 2500 mAh battery, we think. Ah, it's got nothing on it. Shrouded in mystery, hey? Would that be 2500 mAh right there? I think it would be. Could be 3000 actually. Now the weird ass motherboard that's in this, that's what it's looking like. With all the screws taken off the motherboard, let's just sort of flip this over. And do we have, oh my god, we don't. Wow, we actually have internal storage. Wow. Was not expecting that. So there's the display assembly and the two analog sticks that just kind of fell out, but that's okay. We'll just put the parts with the rest of the parts. So the analog sticks look a little something like that on that side, and then flipping them over, that's what they look like on that side. And they are stuck into place and they don't move around. It's just the joystick caps aren't that tight. So maybe if you put a bit of super glue on it and then sort of stuck it down, they wouldn't move around so much, giving you a better experience. Let's see the modules. So we have a QMonda chip there. No idea what that could possibly be, if that's RAM or flash storage. Then we also have, what would this be? Is that an all-winner? ATJ2273B. I don't recognize that logo. And then we also have another module and just dangling speakers and dangling battery, which is perfectly fine. That's that module there, which I can't actually tell anything from that. Flash, RAM, and the processor, unlike the other one, which was all just built into one. So that's quite impressive. I'm going to Google this chip. The processor is by a company called Actions. I've never heard of that before, but they specifically make system-on-chips for these sorts of devices, so that does make sense. This here is the 16GB flash module made by Micron, which I kind of should have figured out by the whole 16 there, but didn't really occur to me. And this is a 512 megabit module, which is 64 megabytes of RAM in this thing. So 16 gig storage, confirmed. Some chip made by a company called Actions that I've never heard of before, and 64 megabytes of RAM. So it's probably on par with the Powkiddy in terms of specifications. If we have a look on the motherboard, is there any place for a touchscreen, perhaps? That wouldn't be for a touchscreen, that would be for another module, I'd say. So yeah, this is just a custom motherboard that doesn't have touch support, and the UI has touch support. Here's the LCD just stuck in there. Can I pull the LCD out? The LCD has some tape over it to protect it. That's good. I gotta be really careful with this. I don't want to break it. I'd pull the LCD out, but there's a whole bunch of little plastic clips going along it, so I think I'll probably leave that in its place. It's fairly generic from what you can see. You can do some customization if you want. You can actually pop these pieces off if you wanted to. So they are kind of like Joy-Cons. You just take them off and there you go. What does it look like? It has some charm to it without that now, but I'll leave it on. I think that's it for the teardown of this unit, so let me go ahead and put this all back together and see if it still works. I think it should be fine, but at least we got to know the specifications of this. Was not expecting to actually have proper flash storage. I was expecting under the microSD card. They did improve something from model to model and take away the camera. Alright, let's see if it still works with all these fingerprints. Yeah, it still works. I didn't damage the LCD too. That's good. It all still works. That's the teardown of this thing. Not gonna lie, that was actually quite surprising to tear this down and see the innards of that. As I said, wasn't expecting actual chips in there. Well, that's everything that I need to cover on the X12 PLUS gaming console. That's on AliExpress now for $75. As I said in my very rambly conclusion, it's not really worth it, but if you do find it cheap like how I did at Cashies, it might be worth picking up just to play around with, and it's fun to have in my collection as just this oddball thing that's just a bigger version of the other thing that I looked at. I don't know if this is better than the Powkiddy A30 or if this is worse than the Powkiddy A30. I'm going to let that decision be up to you folks. You folks can debate it in the comments amongst yourselves if this is better or not. I'm just not too sure, and I wonder if anyone's actually done any custom firmware for one of these. I don't think anyone has, but if they have, feel free to let me know. That's it. We're done with this one. And if you made it to the end of this video as well, thank you very much for sticking around and putting up with the rambles and all that sort of stuff. But if you made it to the end and you had to use timestamps, that's all good. That's why they're there. That's why I include them, in case you want to skip past the listing, because that usually goes on way too long, and then I usually talk for way too long, like I'm doing now. So don't worry, if you need to use the timestamps, I completely understand. That's it for gaming videos for now. I don't have any other gaming videos planned. I was going to do the GS5 playthrough of all the games, but I've kind of decided against it now because I done it a couple of months ago. I know a few people have requested it, but I want to get back to looking at phones and stuff, because I've got so many phones in a backlog now that I need to look at, so I just want to concentrate back on them. But if you still want to see that playthrough, let me know, and I could try and get around to doing it, but maybe if I run out of ideas or something, I can just record some gameplay and throw it up. We'll see what happens. But yeah, expect some phones to be in the next few reviews. Finally, that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it as always. I know it's just a cheapo console and stuff, but I hope you had some fun looking at this thing. If you also own this, let me know down in the comments below. It'd be interesting to see if anyone actually owns this and has played through it. Let me know your experiences with it. As always, please take care, stay safe, be good people, and I'll see you all in the next video, which should be something to do with the phone, hopefully. But anyways, until then, please take care, and I shall see you all next time. If you like this content, feel free to leave a like or a dislike if you didn't. Thanks heaps for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.